To this day, it is still one of the only version exclusive locations we have ever seen in the Pokémon series. Black City, located right in between Route 14 and 15 in the post-game of Unova. It's the counterpart of White Forest. In the original Black and White, these two places had some of the wildest, most bizarre mechanics of all time, where how crowded and thus functional this place was depended on how much time it took you to get here since starting your save. If you had taken too long and Black City and White Forest had turned into a ghost town, the only way to fill it up again was by linking up with friends online. If you didn't have those, well, tough luck buddy, no sprawling locations for you. Game Freak probably realized this wasn't ideal, and so they changed up the way these locations worked in the sequels Black and White 2. Now you could also fill up the city and forest by battling and progressing in the brand new battle facilities known as the Black Tower and White Tree Hollow, collectively known as Unova's Challenge. And what may on the surface seem like another battle tower or battle tree is actually one of Pokemon's most enigmatic locations of all time, with particularly Black Tower being and remaining a dark and sinister mystery, which raises a lot of questions and barely answers any of them. So how about we try doing that? Let's start at the beginning and how Black Tower came to be. We know that by the time we visited during our second tour through Unova, the location hasn't been around for long. It isn't present in the original game after all, nor do we see anything resembling its construction, so the entire Black Tower project, from laying its first brick to its grand opening, must have happened in between the 2-year gap between the first and second Pokémon Black games. And while that may appear to be nothing too noteworthy, seeing as a lot of things can change in that amount of time, as is seen in not just Black and White 2 but also Gold and Silver, the full construction of Black Tower in that amount of time can be considered an outright miracle. It may not look like it at first sight, seeing as it appears as just a blue-black blocky tower in the overworld, but Black Tower is huge. We visit a total of 20 floors, which along with White Tree Hollow makes it the tallest building in Pokémon history, counting by floors at least. That said, we have reason to believe the building is actually even taller than what being 20 floors tall suggests. In real life, a 20-floor building wouldn't even be in the top 200 of tallest buildings on Earth, yet there are several NPCs inside Black Tower who suggest the floors we encounter them on are on a completely different level from what we find in real life. In Area 6, which means the 6th and 7th floor, we can find someone saying this area is so far above the ground you cannot see it from ground level. Another says they are so high up they have trouble breathing, and one person even says they believe you might be so high up you're actually in outer space. Now, while I find that last one very hard to believe, there is definitely a pattern emerging here showing that Black Tower is a lot taller than a real life building with 20 floors would be, and the way I see it, only one explanation for that really makes sense: hidden floors. While that idea may at first sight sound a little convenient, or perhaps even unnecessarily complex, the fact is that even without going into the dark side of the Black Tower, which we will shortly, don't worry, it fits the design of the facility to a T. The challenge of this place is much more than just battling. It is designed like a complete maze, where you must first defeat the gatekeeper in order to progress and unlock the door to the boss trainer, the final challenge of each area. By defeating regular trainers, you can obtain hints as to where to find the gatekeeper. The entire place is built around mysteries, all at the hand of a man named Jackery, a scientist we can encounter on higher floors. He claims to have designed the tower, and while he has nothing to add concerning potential hidden floors, there's even a possibility he doesn't even know about them. After all, the receptionists below claim they don't even know what happens above the 6th floor, as it's above their administration, which shows large parts of this facility are a mystery even to the people that work here. That still isn't proof that secret floors exist, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush, there isn't any concrete evidence for it. But the fact that the NPC dialogue does not align with the proposed height, and shady business appears to be rampant all throughout Black Tower, I would say it is the most logical explanation. Because yeah, the design philosophy of Black Tower is one shrouded in secrecy and sinister motives. We have seen plenty of other battle facilities in the Pokémon series, and they all play by similar rules. We even see this in Unova at the same moment in time as the Black Tower exists, with the Pokémon World Tournament following these familiar rules of set levels, restricted number of Pokémon, and no EXP gained. But Black Tower not only does not have those rules, it actively breaks them. You can get EXP here, every Pokemon retains its levels, you can bring your full team and even bring special Pokemon along, which are banned in many battle facilities. Plenty of elusive legendaries are also used by boss trainers inside, like Entei, Articuno, Heatran and even Tornadus, a brand new legendary from this very generation. It raises the question, who are these people? Who are these trainers that are so powerful that they brought their own legendaries along? Because make no mistake, their title of boss trainer may suggest they're a part of the organization, like the Frontier Brains that also used legendaries, but that isn't actually the case. We know this thanks to the only boss trainer that's actually a character, Benga. He's Otter's grandson and the one who first informs us of the existence of the Black Tower, by rushing in to tell his famous grandpa that he managed to successfully make it to the top of the facility, showing that he too was just a challenger like us not too long ago. The same presumably goes for the other boss trainers like Ida, Harmony and Jenna, all of which use legendaries they too presumably caught themselves. How they got them, we don't know, and it doesn't really matter either. The true question is why are all these clearly powerful yet also unknown trainers gathered here? What is the purpose of this facility? And that is a perfect example of one of those questions the game clearly raises but never outright answers. All we have to go on are our own experiences and those from an investigator who we encounter on several floors. He mentions the entire facility is built in less than 2 years, which we didn't need him for to deduce, and funded by an unknown sponsor. All battles in the entire facility are taped and there are cameras in every room watching every move. Apparently the goal of this operation is to find someone stronger than even the champion, but for what purpose we don't know. Based on the presence of the cameras and the focus on strong trainers, your mind probably immediately goes to some entertainment purpose, almost like a Pokemon version of Squid Game in a way. Hell, there are even trainers in-game who speculate that may be the purpose of the tower. It would explain the unknown but clearly ridiculously wealthy sponsor of the tower, but personally I don't think this is the most likely explanation for what is going on here. And the simple reason for that is the presence of the aforementioned Pokémon World Tournament. This is an official battle tournament between what are widely recognized as the strongest trainers in the world, spending billions to create your own personal battle facility with the exact same purpose, but no-name trainers instead of big names makes no sense to me. And sure, many of the trainers we find are of trainer classes that are coded to be rich or extraordinary in another way, like gentlemen, socialites and psychics, but that still doesn't weigh up to actual gym leaders and champions. Another explanation the game clearly pushes is something more unsavory, a possible connection to an evil team that we may or may not know about. There is no concrete evidence of this whatsoever, it's purely the result of how the place is presented, complete with someone investigating what is actually going on here. Could say Colress or another shady figure be behind this whole thing? Yeah, sure, it is possible. It doesn't conflict with what we know of him and his motives, but at the same time, there is also nothing that points directly towards this being the truth. In-game, we also never see a possible motive for any evil team to run this place. Even when we beat the whole thing, we never find out what the idea behind finding a super powerful trainer was, so if the idea was to recruit or use them for ulterior motives, we as players are at least never approached. And so, personally, I believe Black Tower serves another purpose entirely. I think the true goal of this facility is hidden in other trainer classes commonly found inside: scientists and doctors. Highly educated people who, unlike other trainers we encounter here, do appear to be affiliated with the tower in some way. The aforementioned Jackery, who apparently designed the whole thing, is the perfect example. Their presence, combined with the fact the battles are recorded and watched somewhere else, leads me to believe the purpose of Black Tower is research. Research into high-level Pokemon battles and top-tier trainers. The kind you can't just find on the streets or even in battle facilities, because they restrict their battles too much. You need an untamed, uncontrolled environment, and Black Tower is exactly that. It tests battle prowess with one's own Pokemon at a level we rarely ever see, complete with the environmental puzzle challenge of finding your way through this maze. It even gives quite a believable explanation to possible hidden floors, which could be dedicated to secret research labs. Call it a social experiment, call it in-depth research. No matter the wording, I feel confident the purpose of Black Tower is to get a group of samples at a size and level that are very hard to get your hands on through normal means. Now, this still doesn't rule out an evil team being behind it. Hell, it would only build Colress's case even further. Neither does it rule out some crazy billionaire or organization who plans to use the research results for their own gain. But the possibility of genuine research by a genuine research organization, possibly still privately funded, is also on the table. And frankly, who is truly behind it all is currently unable to be determined. I strongly believe that the purpose of the tower is research, but who is conducting that research and why is a question that simply cannot be answered without enormous reaches. Currently, that is, because I do feel that by the time we revisit Unova in either a Legends game or some other remake, this is a story beat that could very well see itself getting expanded. Hell, it might even get expanded on in another unconnected game. Scarlet and Violet took us back to Unova after all, and even referenced Black City while doing so. And so, this remains one of Pokemon's biggest and most sinister mysteries, but yet also a forgotten and underrated one. I haven't seen many people theorize on what is going on here, so how about we start that right now? Share your theories and ideas in the comments below. I'll pin the one I like best. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on all my future Pokemon content coming up. For now, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.